Hi everyone. I came across an article by a guy called Otto Schwammer. I have his book, which is called Theory U. Very, very thick academic book, not easy to read. But he's a real academic professional. Works in the MIT Sloan School of Management. And the article is called Fourth Person. And that really intrigued me. I mean, fourth person. Such an interesting title. What is the fourth person? And he says the fourth person knowing is experienced as a beingness that is not me, but that attends to me, and of which in a certain moment I can be very subtly aware. It's not me. The fourth person, there's first, second, third, this is the fourth one. He says, artists recognize this beingness. It is often experienced as the deeper essence of the creative process. And then here they quote here singer-songwriter Bob Dylan, who says, they asked him why he's still singing when he was very much older. He says, why do you still do it? Why are you still out there? Dylan replied, well, it goes back to the destiny thing. I made a bargain with it long time ago, and I'm holding up my end. The nature of Dylan's bargain is not so much to craft songs, but rather to allow songs that want to be written to manifest through him. So this is such an interesting idea that's coming up here. I mean, I often have a sense when I write my books or write my articles that I'm not really the absolute author of it. Somehow there's an interesting process of just sitting down, starting with an idea and then just writing. And it's like, where does this come from? I often look at what I've written and think, wow, that's so great. So what it brings up for me is a whole lot of things. I mean, what is this fourth person knowing? Fourth person knowing, something out there that doesn't actually belong to me, but passes into me, and I have a chance to express it. So artists express it. So it's something much more subtle, something out there in the ether. And how do I connect to that? Well, there are many ways to connect to it. Of course, we all have found ways to connect to that fourth person without being actually fully conscious of it. It makes a difference, though, if we can start to be conscious. Start to be conscious of the fact that we are surrounded by intelligence. And that intelligence, whatever it is, can communicate with us. Now, in my first book, called Healthy Medicine, there's an interesting, there's the spiral that I often talk about, open to the outer world and open to the inner world. The spiral was done on the beach of Noordhoek. So there's a chapter there in that book called Do We Need God for Healing? Well, why did I write that chapter? Do I believe in God? Well, it depends what we mean by the definition of God. I certainly believe that there's something out there and something powerful and something that in a way seems to be able to manifest as a healing impetus. I mean, the whole placebo response is very strange. And the placebo response, remember, is not the drug that's doing anything, not the healer that's even doing anything. Something is happening that stimulates a healing response in the person, and we don't exactly know what it is. So there's something, again, unknown, a great mystery. I've spoken already about my society to investigate the unknown and unknowable. So for me, this fascination with the mystery is really heartfelt and drives a lot of the way that I think and the way that I practice. Here's another example, falling in love. You don't consciously want to fall in. I mean, you do want to fall in love, but it doesn't just happen because you want it. But when it happens, it's like, wow. It's such an experience to actually be in love. It may not last forever, but certainly that moment, those months, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 months of absolute bliss. How did it happen? What brought that process together? And is there some guiding force in it? There often feels like it's somehow drawing two people together. That drawing two people together is not haphazard. It's somehow, there's something divine in it. Something maybe even sacred in it, that coming together of these two energies, two people. So falling in love for me is an astonishing process of a sense of the presence. And I was talking to my partner last night about this, that we both remember that whole incident of falling in love and how it happened. It was totally mysterious. So was there some intelligence operating there? Now, we can give that intelligence a lot of names. I mean, it's often we talk about intuition, for example, something come from the unknown into the known. We talk about spontaneous remissions of healing. People talk about near-death experiences, which is also quite amazing. So there is a sense that there's some great mystery out there. You want to call it God? Yeah, why not? What's wrong with the word God? As long as you don't think God is some person, once we start to give it a label of a person sitting on top of a mountain with a long beard, then we start to restrict it. And if we think there's only one God that belongs to our race, then again we start to restrict this idea. I mean, these are throughout the ages, people have felt that there was some great intelligence, some great force in the world that was outside me personally, that somehow could connect with me and that I could connect with it. It would come in our dreams. But what really happened for me last night when I was talking to my partner was the sense of, has that intelligence that brought us together, has it left? Has it just disappeared now? Oh, it's brought us together and that's it. I don't think so. There was suddenly in my conversation the recognition that, yeah, the falling in love needed to happen, and it was beautiful, and it was ordained, and it was a process. But that intelligence hasn't left. That intelligence, whatever names you want to call it, and we can call it angels. Why not angels? Why not spirit? Why not God? That intelligence is still there sitting between us. And if we start to acknowledge that intelligence that's sitting there between us and recognize that it's something bigger, something whole, and that it's still offering itself in a beautiful way to this relationship, despite all the difficulties that may be there and that come up. Those difficulties are really nothing more than the same intelligence trying to show us something that we both need to recognize together, because this is a togetherness intelligence, an intelligence that's brought us together and is still operating behind the scenes, as it were, to expose the lessons that we need to have together as a relationship. I read somewhere that actually there are all kinds of spirits out there and all kinds of intelligences, and there's one just for me, and there's one just for my partner, and there's one for us together. And I love that idea that there's one relationship spirit that is sitting there behind us and guiding us in a way. that we need to really be careful of the difficulties that come up. Guiding angel is just trying to show us something of relationships and how we can manage it better. In that sense, suddenly, for me anyway, as I was talking, I was recognizing how sacred and beautiful and loving this relationship actually really is in all the way through. Not just sometimes, all the way through. That's what that guiding hand is for us, is loving and showing us about love. Is sacred. Is showing us about the amazing qualities that this relationship is offering. And joyful, because that's what it's meant to be. So, yeah, what a beautiful world this is, and the recognition of all these intelligences that are really sitting behind us. And don't let science disempower you. It doesn't work that way. Science can only measure a small part of it. And what I'm pointing to is something big and magnificent. But it's not a question of asking that intelligence to first prove itself to you. It's in your belief, in your recognition that it's there, you will start to see it more and more in your life. Quantum science says the observer and what is observed are connected. And as we recognize the truth of what I'm saying there, you will start to see it affecting your life and operating in your life. Have a good day.